Hello, everyone, and welcome to ZSR Main. Tonight we've got another match of the Link to the Past, the Major Glitches League, Season 5 here. We've got the match from the Hera Division, Round 3. We've got Bydey versus Yeroc. I'm Star, our two comms tonight are Claire and Blaine. Take it away, you two.
Hi, Claire Mouse.
Yo, hey, Blaine. How's it going? Real
It's
comfy.
going well.
Yeah, I think it's just a real comfy, chill, exciting though, nonetheless. We have the final game of as soon to be almost not League again. Can you believe it? We're here at the finale, at least, of NMG League Season 5. Got a pretty good race to kick it off, though.
If it's almost not League, that means it's also almost League. So,
true, yes.
In a way,
cannot wait, actually.
That's right.
That's right. Yeah, NMG League always seems to go. I mean, it is only let's say 3 to 4 weeks, give or take. I think it's 10, depending on kind of what ends up happening during the season. But I think it's actually pretty nice. It's just nice and short and sweet. You get in, you play 3 to 4 matches, and then you get out, and then you wonder, and you end up paying Fox as to when the next NMG League season is.
Yeah, it's bite-sized, exactly. And super that is, I think, agreed upon across the community as okay, this is enough for this time. We'll just go back to playing runs that don't really matter.
Well, yeah, okay. Yeah, that's always been subject to.
It's a whole different animal racing this, having to finish, or having some expectation of performance from other people besides yourself. It's always a game changer. But
yeah, that's true, actually. And certainly I think we've seen this in any type of competition, right? It is certainly much different, regardless of level. Whether you're just kind of playing for yourself, you can quit at any time. That's what I tell myself every day for any specific activity I do. It is certainly not the case, or certainly not recommended, that you quit against your opponents. And these guys are extremely talented. So I think so you can probably tell me a bit more about Bydey's, I guess, kind of history with this game. Certainly seems to be quite around for quite some time. Absolute. Oh, yeah. I think he's probably also known for maybe some of the more most creative strats that people have come up with. When you say something's like a Bydey strat, sometimes you wonder maybe how it actually does work, but somehow it is among one of the fastest ones you've discovered.
Yeah, so Bydey is one of the top runners of this game, obviously. Very, very good time. I don't have the leaderboard up, or I would tell you exactly where he stands on it, but he's in the top 20.
Yeah, 124.41. I believe he's 18th. Yep. I did look this up earlier, so thanks for the softball.
One of us prepares, and one of us, gets to their computer 3 minutes before showtime. So, Bydey's a top runner, has been for many years. He's certainly been on the scene for a long time. Just a really good guy. Just loves to interact with people in the community. And that kind of is true for most people across the community, but there's people who really like to be part of the community when they're the top runners, and Bydey's one of those guys. Yeroc, I'm just going to call him Corey for the duration of this race. Maybe the most active runner right now, top level-ish runner. He's just he is just right now, and has been for some time. Obviously, it's not like he's new to the scene or anything, but the last few months just has been rock solid as far as playing all the time, always there, always grinding. So it's just it's been resulting in more and more PBs, and that's the number one thing you can do to get better, is just play all the time. And so Corey's gotten that down pretty much. But these guys are certainly no slouches. They're playing to finish. I guess the winner of this match will be 2-1.
That's right. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And look, you're playing against top guys in this kind of event all the way through. So coming out of it with 2 wins, you'll take that.
Yeah, extremely difficult. Yeah, and so talking about Corey being one of the most active runners are absolutely great, and I think it's actually probably since under a year ago, where he actually got his first 125, something like that, give or take. He has currently a low 125, 125.09 as a PB. Actually, I mean, just within basically less than a year, he has basically grinded out basically to 40 seconds under, which for some of you maybe have experienced, kind of the grind from the 126 to the 125 to maybe even the 124. I mean, I really do actually feel like a 124 is gonna just happen, any day now. Basically, his time is so good, and part of course being so good is the consistency. I do believe that he really actually just does, as you said before, just on stream every night, and between these PBs, right, is probably like, so Bydey does the 124, but they're kind of separated by just kind of a handful of seconds, right? So I certainly expect it to be this to be a very, very close race. We actually can see basically just how synced up they are right now. I mean, I understand that Escape may not have like the most amount of variation, especially when maybe you get either like the same or very similar RNG. But I mean, these guys are synced completely. You actually saw how clean the ball and chain guard was for both of them.
Yeah, good clean ball and chains. A couple instances of RNG going backwards for one of them, and then, Corey has to boom the guard coming down in the hallway there, while Bydey had to boom the guard on the way out of Zelda's cell. So, just little variations there. No major mistakes or anything like that to really separate, which is what we'd expect. I mean, I found personally. Now, I don't know about these guys, and this is now, I assume they have been. Probably, this is me just winging it, not looking anything up. I assume they've been in all the seasons of League, or at least most of the seasons of League, so they're probably more used to this. I mean, before League, we had like a tournament every 3 years or something like that. You were never really playing, racing this with any kind of stakes, or performing it in any way, except for the people on your stream or something like that. So it's relatively new-ish with the advent of League that you have this recurring competitive channel for running this game. I found Escape and Eastern take on a completely different feeling in a competitive race like this, because it's not hard to just die to ball and chain. I mean, we kind of joke about it like it's pretty easy or something like that, but like it's not hard to just, you're not really super focused on the run yet. It's an Escape, you die. Same thing in Eastern, you're not focused, you walk into an Igor, you die. You really, really don't want to do that in a race like this. So it just took on like a different, for me when I was running, a different feel that was like, ooh, this is scary. And then I would get to desert and be like, all right, not so scary anymore, which is kind of like the opposite of when you're doing like a real run. But these guys get through Escape, good times for both of them, pretty much within a second. I would expect them both picking up Sankard here, because there's really no reason not to in a environment like this. But
yeah, I think you're right. I mean, so out of curiosity, do you correlate your performance in the light world before or after you get boots? Because when you mentioned Escape and Eastern, those are coincidentally the segments that have no boots, and then once you get the boots, right, then you go on to desert, and then things feel okay again.
Yeah, if you're just doing a run, you didn't get to the boots yet, you're like, oh, maybe I'll just play it out because I really don't want to go back and pump all the way through Escape and Eastern again. So that it is kind of like a line of demarcation where it's like, I really don't want to. So let's just continue with, the light world to get through it. Or some people will play and just reset at Aga or something like that. Or, hey, I really, really want to get to Dark World tonight. And that kind of attitude is what gets you killed in Hera. Like 6 straight runs.
Yes. The 6. Okay, well, hopefully that won't happen tonight. I really hope that we don't get like an Infinite Moldorm. We certainly have maybe seen on the unfortunate case of just like Infinite Ganon, that when you just consistently die.
It is such a good feeling. Such a good feeling in a race of this to get to Dark World just alive. That is honestly such a good feeling. You'll take like, oh, I got 2 extra blue balls than my opponent. Like, you'll take that because what are you gonna do? But a little unfortunate there for Corey getting shot by that, but it's not going to really matter. Get some good RNG there, catches right back up.
Yeah,
but you're not really. It's not. You're not going to sweat it until you're standing on the pyramid. Just don't embarrass myself by shooting 20 arrows on Landmo. Don't die to Armos Knights or something stupid like that, and get through Hera, survive. Don't mess up tree pulls. Like once you get to Dark World, it really kind of becomes a lot simpler, even though the run's not harder. But these guys, you know what you're getting into, you know what you're signing up for. So even if disaster does kind of befall you in something like this, you also know all of the things that can go wrong, in the future. So being a minute behind because you die in Hera is not the end of any of these guys like trying hard or something like that. So we'll get a good show no matter what, and hopefully we just get you like when that's nice and close. You get to Dark World and for us, it's more entertaining, I guess. But
Oh yeah. Oh, of course, of course. And yeah, you actually talk about of course, as being part of a live race, certainly, even if you do take an unfortunate tumble or some time loss that you may not always desire to keep in a regular run, you kind of in this case just have to keep going. And there have actually been several cases, at least one off the top of my head that I can think of that happened this at least season, is that one per person actually had in this case like died to or fallen to Moldorm, and they ended up winning the race. Just goes to show you like there's, especially in the light world, there's a lot of game to make up and to play in the dark worlds.
Yep.
And so long as you keep focus, right, you certainly have every single chance provided to you, so, kind of like of your own accord.
absolutely. And now that we've hit the about 9-minute mark is when you actually start having to do some hard things in this run. So I'll stop talking big picture about the speed run, and we can start focusing on like execution, like in this room where you don't really want to screw up because you don't have much margin of error, and both these guys get pretty good results there. And then we're gonna go back to the back of Eastern, where again, like it's not a hard dungeon, but there are some really nice kind of warm-up pieces of execution. I always like to think of them as warm-up execution pieces, little things, reading the enemies in this room, kind of a warm-up for some reading of the enemies later. You see Corey actually gets a good read on the Stalfos at the bottom there, knows he doesn't have to slash, just saving a couple frames around there. I always liked these kind of sections, kind of hyper-focus to get a feel of how I was playing the game. And there's a lot of little stuff in the back of this dungeon, like in this room, just moving as fast as you can. A little bit of a slip up there for Corey, but
Yeah, so far actually it just seems like even the slightest bad enemy RNG, or just like maybe you end up kind of going just maybe off the proverbial beaten path, that certainly seems to be causing a bit more variation. Now that being said, there's a lot more variation for this to be caused for. We got some really nice drops actually.
A lot of money for both players. Red rupee for Corey, which is always nice. You don't have to worry about anything, but Bydey got enough. Certainly not going to complain about having 12 rupees.
Dude, look at this nice pinkus arrow, quick armor skill. No, Bydey. I spoke too soon.
Definitely not my fault there. Clear mouse, way to go. And the crystal hitting the ground, and the pendant hitting the ground.
Pendant, yeah, it's okay. It's a very round crystal.
Which is just because it's dropping higher, or I don't know, the camera's a little. You have to walk up there. Maybe that messes up the camera. I forget. But who among us has never, had to shoot a very strange number of arrows on Armos?
Yeah, exactly. Well, I don't think anything hit the wall. So at least part of the fixtures in the dungeon were spared. But I mean, honestly, like not even the big deal. So it is a time loss, but in the grand scheme of things, very minor. Bydey, of course, certainly has more than enough arrows in order to kind of make the rest of the run go. Only kind of like 2 behind.
Yeah, you're not really worried about arrow count unless you, in the light world, pretty much at all, you don't really care what your arrow count is outside of some absolute disaster on Lenmo. So
let us maybe not think about such things until we get
before we even get to Lenmo. We have spin speeds to mess up. So let's let's go first. You're right. See, there's a miss for Corey. The first one's always the hardest. Absolutely, 100% proven by science. First spin speed, impossible. Especially because nobody ever warms up with spin speed. Like, at least I've almost never seen. These guys had the practice hack up. They were playing before the race started. Obviously,
right.
You never go and you do spin speed screens really ever at all. It's just not something. Like maybe you'll do Helma, so you'll get a spin speed in there, but not quite the same thing.
Yeah, no.
The post boots screen is very under practiced.
Yeah, and it has actually been like, as you said, like I was always like the very first one after you get boots, right? So you've been pumping for 11 minutes or 11 minutes and change. Finally go match those checks, and suddenly now you actually have to, start the run. Ooh, all right.
A little difference in strats on that screen, and you'll see it was actually when I test it, I get about 25-ish frames faster with the spin speed versus just the dashing. The one problem with the spin speed, if you do hit it, is getting in that door, as you can see, can sometimes be a little bit of a pain.
Yeah, it can actually be quite violent, or in this case, you'd be surprised on how actually difficult the super speed is in this case to control, especially in that, like, basically in the, like, you think that you might not, like, nudge into the door more, it just shakes the camera a ton, so it's maybe not necessarily, like, the most convenient of entries, and actually, maybe that's actually, maybe part of consistency, and some people choose not to do that spin speed, because, well, if you just end up dashing, you have a lot more control. Now, that being said, if you're going to go for, something that saves you a bunch more frames in this case, Certainly very viable still to do in a race, but maybe more commonly done in I guess like personal best runs. Now, of course, that being said, if you're used to that spin speed, you want to basically keep consistency. You really want to put something in the race where you're pretty sure, in this case, you're the most comfortable doing those strats, right? Even if it can be maybe a little bit more either like riskier or can end up ultimately maybe like negative EV based on how well you've been practiced.
I mean, you're really just you're trying to save the mental damage in some places, right?
Yeah, this game is like, you think that there's like a lot of like physical pressure, right, and like physical exertion, for basically playing this game, which is true, but like holy, the mental aspect, both in terms of like what you have to keep track of some prize packs, arrow drops, resources, but also just like the mental fortitude of actually just like being focused. Like holy cow, it's exhausting.
Oh yeah, but also sometimes because most people who speedrun this game are quite stubborn, and maybe the hardest thing to do.
Observe that.
Maybe the hardest thing to do in this game is miss a spin speed and just be like, okay, I'll do the screen without spin speed, because nobody does that. You miss a spin speed, and you will try until you achieve spin speed. So, like on that screen going up to the library, you might stand there, 4 or 5 times if it starts to go badly, and so that's one of those mental damage things. It's like, well, I'm not going to recover from this, but I'm still going to get it.
That's right. It's the gambit that you take, the investment, such that you have hopefully you'll have a good, rest of the run later. Looks like I actually got some bad RNG on Bydey's side for the cannons.
That's actually, I really like that room, because again, you're kind of in the light world, you're warming up your reads. There's a number of different RNGs to kind of read what the cannonballs are giving you there to determine how you need to react and get out of the room, and then based on what you get, there's an exiting pattern to get you clear of the cannonballs as well. You may have to delay your dash. You may be able to dash right away on the way out, etc. So those little things are nice kind of benchmarks to get ready to read some more dangerous RNGs or things that can it's like a wake-up call. If you read the cannonball RNG wrong in that room, it's like, okay, hey, I need to pay a little bit more attention to things that I'm reading versus, oh, well, I'm dialed in, I've got this. Kind of
I actually didn't really think about that either, because and especially well, I mean, you can think about this as any segment, but like escape, right, is kind of like the hallmark flagship segment of warm up, right? You don't really have much to do except other than pump, but it is kind of something that kind of gets you settled in, more like kind of warmed up on the controllers. Don't typically necessarily think of maybe like later splits in the light world as like warm up segments as well, but I think that's actually a really interesting perspective, because this is actually when you end up getting boosts, you end up going a lot faster, and so that means that your reads actually have to be probably a bit sharper, my assumption is, as opposed to like you're just kind of like pumping and walking over.
And let's be honest, it feels like warm up because you're not past Tower of Hera yet. So until you get past Tower of Hera,
okay,
the run really begun.
That is a very, very fair point. We talked actually about a lot of like quote unquote like gatekeepers, right? There's like Dark World Gatekeeper, that's like Helma, that seems to be certainly one of those run enders. Light World Moldorm, holy cow, that seems to be probably the strongest gatekeeper of the entire game.
And then this guy too for a while,
Yeah, holy cow.
Very good first cycle from Corey there. Gets first
that
worm
was
down.
Phenomenal. Gonna be able to get 2 cycles.
Oh, he just couldn't land that second one.
Missed it, yeah.
Kind of an unfortunate spawn pattern, but cleans it up very nicely on the third.
It looks like Bydey, unfortunately, is not getting as good of patterns but I think we got, early 4 cycle? So just one more ahead of Corey.
Yeah, one of the hardest things to do is to stay clear of the exploding rocks as you're trying to position yourself going from one worm to the next, and just Bydey got knocked a little bit out of the way where he couldn't recover and land that last shot. But not a terrible fight by any means, and
no, for sure. And,
again, you're not looking for, at least speaking personally, you're not looking for perfection on that fight. You're just, hey, get me through it. Make sure I have enough arrows to go on. Don't let me embarrass myself in front of however many people are watching on ZeldaSpeedRuns right now.
I believe that is consistent with what you said earlier.
Like proud, like it's Clear Mouse's favorite fight. I can't mess up Clear Mouse's favorite fight, right? So that's going through their heads as well, I'm sure.
These guys are doing phenomenally well. I mean, like you said, right now, like it just seems like Light World is just kind of like you want to be able to get through it, certainly as fast as you can. But no,
okay.
Okay, everything's fine. Everything's
A
fine.
number of unfortunate things happening there. Just getting the diagonal boom on Bydey's side pretty much just canceling his dash and booming at the same time, I guess, going with the diagonal. So then getting the unfortunate reality of the crab is also standing right on top of me, and I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Also getting popped there. Boy, he's down to 3 hearts. That is a rough South Shore. Corey had a very nice... I was actually going to praise Corey's fake flipper section where he... a lot of players will cancel their dash on the way to that bush to line up for the fake flipper very early. Corey had a very quick and late cancel, getting to that bush really quickly, getting into the water. Surprising number of frames that you can lose just like with a kind of lazy, scared. You don't want to get too close to the bush. You don't want to poke the bush, then the bush is gone. You have no way to line up for the fake flipper. So a lot of players cut it off early, very on purpose. Corey had a very nice screen, opposite completely of what Bydey happened, but that was mostly just bad RNG on Bydey's side. He will want to get up the mountain without taking any additional damage, for sure. 3 hearts is fine for Hera. It's when you enter with less than 3 that you kind of are not super happy, but Death Mountain is going to do what Death Mountain does, so we'll see if he can get up cleanly like Corey did.
Oh, that was a very clutch spin speed on the stairs. Okay, so Wayne, I do have a question for you. So if we, in this case, have the unfortunate, more reduced health version of Tower of Hera, at what point would you consider flipping the switch and getting some extra hearts before the final gatekeeper of Light World?
I would do that in a race, probably on 3 or fewer hearts upstairs.
3?
There's really such little downside. Again, you're not going to expect the time it takes to hit that switch and pick up a heart or 2 upstairs. You're almost never expecting that to be the difference in a race like this. Ooh, Corey going a little conservative.
Do you remember when you said that it's 3 is okay, but you really don't want any more? So Corey got hit once, I think in the overworld from the mountain. We got hit once from the mini Moldorm in basement cage, and now we also got hit once going down to the Hera basement. A little precarious. Meanwhile, Bydey though has had quite the opposite experience.
Did get the first try boom dash down here, which is always a confidence booster for the people that go for it. Gets a little break here on these pegs. Bydey's going to go with the much more, I guess, basic strat of stand here, pick up a pot, walk to the door, throw the pot, go through the door. Both are fine. Very minimal time save with the boom strats in Hera, but it does simplify rooms like this one for Corey, where he can just kind of dash straight out, use the menu to read the Moldorm, not get hit, and then run face first into a Stalfos, because this room's so much fun.
Yeah, well, okay, so I mean, normally when we think about health as a resource, it doesn't usually come up as often until we get maybe to like the late game dungeon of Mire. However, part of the tribulation is that in order to get to Moldorm, we have to, in order to beat Moldorm at the gatekeeper, we have to get to him first. We also did see some unfortunate arrows being dropped by the beetle, just slightly out of reach. By slightly, I mean completely out of reach for Corey. But turns out they don't actually drop anything if you end up knocking the beetles down to the pit anyway. So I guess we're all in.
That was a very interesting beetle strat. I'm actually not sure if Bydey does that beetle strat every time, or if it was just something based on that RNG that he got. Basically didn't do the double pot strat that most other people will do in there. Corey had a very nice read in that room. Not opting for an extra heart here, either of them. Going with early bomb jump. And Bydey needs to get... Okay, he's fine.
Looks great. We actually see that Bydey didn't flip the switch. Versus in this case, Corey, you can see the pegs are very much upright. Oh,
that was a sick read. He gets rewarded for the beautiful really read and execution there. You love to see it. I was expecting him to pick up 2 hearts here.
Oh, no!
Okay, Corey getting a little close. So Corey does not have the switch hit. He's going to go up there with 2 hearts.
Yeah. All right.
Well, Moldorm doesn't probably be fine.
Yeah.
You are typically... Ooh, okay. Bydey's going to join him on 2 hearts here.
Yeah, we actually do see in this case both Bydey and Corey are using, I would say, essentially like follower strats in this case, not necessarily dashing, just kind of trying to following along the tail. Otherwise, very nice cleanup. You talk about like the first spin speed is always the hardest one, scientifically proven. I believe Moldorm is the exact same case. The second try is always, for some reason, much easier than the first.
Every time, of course. He was kind of awkwardly positioned on that first attempt, but everyone is, again... who among us has never fallen off instantly.
Or get knocked off.
So he's no familiar. You know, some bosses you're very unfamiliar with fighting a second time. Not that guy. So Corey's done there. He's been there, done that, and he gets right up there and no problem. Does miss the spin speed coming out of there, but he did get the spin speed, and actually had a very nice kind of delay to get the spin speed and hit Katie there, making sure that Katie was not going to be a problem. Always love to see good reads like that and kind of adjustments on the fly.
Oh yeah, and this race actually, in fact, is in this case quite close. We're gonna see. I assume that both people are doing tree rupees. Maybe in this case we need 4 enemy kills. Looks like we're probably gonna go for the same ones.
No pickle shots, huh? No pickle shot gamers. Any pickle shot gamers in chat?
We're avians. We like to hunt birds of prey. Not well, I guess they're not vegetarians, right? So.
Oh, I thought Bydey was gonna run into the mushroom there. That was pretty close.
We're not vegetarians. We do not go for cucumbers. We also do not go for mushrooms. We are, I guess, only meat eaters here. This is Lost Woods / Light World Skull Woods. You know, it's only appropriate, right? That that we only find game here. But of course, good news is that, well, yes, probably good news for both of them is that they certainly do not want the mushroom. That will most likely mess up a ton of their muscle memory at this point because they're probably just used to not having an extra item in their inventory when they end up doing their menu stuff. They also have not bitten. Yeah. I've actually heard that some people have said, I guess in like the personal stream, I don't know how hyperbolic it is, but they just said that like it is like the most tilting thing, you know, in this case, if you end up picking up the mushroom on accident.
I actually don't know off the top of my head how many times you would menu over it. It's probably not that many times, but the times that it would, you would mess up every time. But yeah, just you do have to have the dash has to be pretty far over to run into the mushroom, so
it is surprisingly
as far left as Bydey was, he probably still was a couple pixels away from not doing it. Corey's gonna get to skip a red rupee here. Picked up the extra blue.
Certainly, actually, really cool to see. I mean, I didn't actually realize just how like valuable like getting an extra red rupee is. I guess actually gonna see in this case, Bydey had to go pick them all. I mean, they're all kind of there for you, right, in order to go pick up. But in order to like the extra distance, you kind of have to go for that 4th one.
I don't know how much time it actually. Yeah, I don't know how much time it actually saves when like Corey had to pick up an extra blue from the blue tree to get the red skip. But if you're doing birdshot strat anyway, it's probably fine because you're going to walk that distance anyway, really. If you were doing, let's say you were a pickle shot gamer, you would be probably breaking even by having to go pick up an extra blue by walking there and then skipping the extra red. So probably just very minimal kind of time saves, but there are slight things like that in even this route that, hey, if you end up with a strange number of rupees, you know, you can do the math on the fly. It's always hard to do math during a run.
Math, you know, you don't need a qualifier, by the way. It's just math.
Yeah, math just being hard. A little unfortunate first room there for Corey as well, getting a little misaligned for some of the spins and missed an arrow going back up. Adjusts to get out, but losing a little bit of time in there. Everybody's favorite dark room here. Very nice read there by Bydey. No slash, just knows the guard's going to get out of the way if he gives him enough time. Oh, that's just the worst. That guy being there is the absolute worst in this room.
Yeah, we can actually see quite the
usually
difference.
You're not going to see him, and if you're doing the dash up there, like Corey was doing, you don't see him until it's almost too late to react.
Yeah, and once in this case you've alerted the guards. I mean, so yeah, there are kind of like many, you know, things that are compounding. So you've alerted the guards, which means that now you are having a significant higher chance, basically, of just getting bullied like the whole entire way. But we've also kind of lost some sword beams. Maybe not necessarily like the biggest deal, but Bydey is going to be able to do some in this case, some faster strats using sword beams in this particular case.
Oh, gets a really slow aggro RNG there, but actually handled it really nicely. Ooh, what in the world happened?
Yeah, I have no idea what happened to that guard.
I didn't see the initial aggro in that room, so I don't know if Corey did something weird, but you almost never see him go down like that. So something had to be up there. A little unfortunate. But again, you kind of read and react. There's some of these rooms can go wrong in a lot of different ways, and recovering is definitely a skill.
Oh yeah. I mean, so I guess for what it's worth, like we are gonna enter the cutscene slash, the auto scroller, I guess, of the portion of this run where there is probably I don't know, maybe a couple frames worth of time that you can probably save on this one, but you just gonna have to go through whatever blue balls that Aga can give you. And this also could be a time, maybe certainly depending on how many blue balls that come out of Aga can kind of like calm down your nerves, mentally prepare. And any type of disasters that have fallen on you in the light world, just remember you're gonna head to the dark world after this, so then you can actually go play the game.
Yeah, again, like this, as both of these players are behind their PBs, and this would probably not qualify as a good light world for either of them, but in a race you'll take it. You got through the light world. If you're watching the stream for your opponent, which I don't know if either of these guys are doing, I think I've seen Bydey in chat for previous races that he's run, so maybe he is kind of a stream watcher. It's pretty close. Blue balls are going to decide some things, but you get to kind of breathe and just head to the dark world.
Oh, Bydey's even listening.
Yeah, always. I knew I knew he would be.
Dude, like, I still cannot fathom this. I mean, they're probably just like, I know that, it's pretty common, at least for NMG speedruns, for people to be, like, at least like present in chat.
Was that 0 from Bydey?
Was it 0? I was also not counting. We have more than 0 on Corey's side, unfortunately.
I think it was 1, yeah. 1, because he's hitting
the... Yeah, but it always just astounds me that they can actually listen like to the actual commentary. I mean, some people actually just see like the game screen, right, or the game feed from their opponents, and that's kind of it. Because while listening to somebody else is actually very, in my opinion, very distracting. But some people, I think I've gone on record even saying that it can be, a bit relaxing.
I absolutely could never do it. I think I tried one NMG race ever where I was like listening to commentary, but it's like past commentary, so it was distracting to me because you're not like listening to a live commentary of yourself,
right? Because
you're listening to the past, which was just distracting for me. So more power to anybody who can do it. Really good recovery there, Bydey on the spin speed. Just was able to slide back to the button, not drop his sword, and then just executes the spin speed on the second time. The first person I ever saw do that was Louis. Was like a Louis, and I don't think he invented this trap, but basically, if you go back to the B button after you try your spin speed, you keep the sword out if you missed it. So if you were too fast, like didn't get that frame in between, just helps when you miss spin speed because you don't have to reattempt it. And nothing bad has ever happened to people reattempting spin speed on that screen. So
no, certainly not. Yeroc was demonstrating this for us. For what it's worth, he only tried I think twice before eventually just deciding to dash out of that, dash off of the pyramid. Again, this is don't give in to sunk cost fallacy. You just at some point you still need to leave the screen quickly. So just go on and dash.
You spin speed off that screen, even if and especially if it kills you.
Do we need health for pot out of curiosity? Just asking for a friend. Maybe just a little, maybe just a couple hearts, right?
All I don't need is 110 rupees for pod.
All right. Well, good thing we ended up getting both of them. 110 rupees for everybody. I think we actually have even a little bit more to spare, and of course, nobody ended up getting hurt, which is probably the more important thing. These guys didn't have enough rupees in total, probably for another Kiki trip, in case they got hit. And farming 6 more rupees is at this point pretty dang painful.
I will admit to not even really knowing what the backup is if you do get hit and need lots of rupees. There probably is a good backup, but I don't know what it is.
I know that there's 5 rupees outside of like the tree of like right outside the pot area, so that's 5. And I guess you can always stun for 1 more, but still like Saha, okay, that's actually pretty reasonable too. Thanks, Libby.
I would be the one running around trying to stun like 6 or 7 enemies. Ooh, a little too low for Bydey there on the throw. Unfortunate.
Yeah, looks like it. And I don't actually think he got an extra bomb pickup. Like, it's not like Corey got 1 extra bomb from the Kanango prize drop. I think Bydey ended up getting arrows instead. So we're going to see this case. Well, I assume he can just maybe pick up an extra bomb somewhere along the way. He should be fine.
Yeah, you want to note it down. I don't know if Bydey is typically a 2 bombs on Hammer Yump Bridge guy, but maybe now he would be if he was a short 1 bomb. You just kind of note it down for later. You're not going to need that bomb for a long time, and there's plenty of places to pick up an extra one if you really are short, or depending on where you are at the prize pack. You do kind of need this section to go well when you're already short a bomb, though. You don't really want to be reattempting this, then you kind of get into a dangerous territory, so we'll see. He looks like he is very confident.
Right, yeah. Quite well done on Bydey's side.
Very nice. And we will see the same from Corey, hopefully.
Yes, that's certainly hope. It looks like we are doing the more, I would say, like classical, traditional approach into getting the hammer from the big chest and pod. We have also seen, of course, Eri, the 123 flat runner, winner of NMG League Season 5 earlier this weekend. Certainly have done some things where we don't need so many bombs for pod. We just need a set of boots and a wing and a prayer. Saves 5 seconds apparently through the whole thing, which I mean, that is so significant.
As much effort as it looks like it takes, you can't argue with getting the sub 6 pod like Eri. So the proof's in the pudding there. But no, neither of these players, unsurprisingly, going for those kind of strats.
Yeah, it's all good. Looks like actually Bydey had a probably reasonable statue. Maybe not as smooth as he would like to have, but again, it's don't sweat the small stuff, especially going into Helmasaur. We are only in the first Dark World dungeon. That was really nice actually on Corey's side.
This is, yes, and about as massive of a bomb difference coming out of pod as you're almost ever going to see.
That's actually true.
8 versus 5. And I don't actually know where the extra bomb was. Did Corey get a bomb drop? I know he picked up both on Hammer Yump, but that doesn't account for 3 being a difference of 3.
He got a bomb drop from the Kadongos in Hera.
He did.
Yeah.
Oh, here's a Bydey strat. Here's a Bydey strat that you were mentioning earlier.
What? I am speechless. I had no idea you would actually be able to do this room backwards. Very well done on Bydey's side, honestly. Like, it's certainly not going to be probably one of the things that you find in textbook. Maybe you'll find in the inverted textbook, you know?
It is in a book. Certainly. I don't know the title of that book. Oh, and on Corey's side, just unfortunate, gets a poke and it drops a sword and it ruins the room when that happens. Looks like Bydey did get the spin speed on Helma, so he's hammering away. Ooh, waits out the fireball entirely. That's actually kind of dangerous to do that, but he's on full health. He doesn't get a fireball here, so everything is fine. Nice key dash for Corey. Good read.
Yeah, looks like we are also going to do spin speed, and hopefully, and of course, the enemy RNG and the fireball versus this tail versus the whatever is going to be different, although it doesn't really look super different right now. We are going to get a little bit of collateral damage, but this is why we pick up Sankheart. So in this case, we can afford ourselves an extra hit, but yeah, otherwise, pretty good.
Yeah, very good fight. Not really much he was going to be able to do with Helmasaur down that low and fireballing. It's just most of the patterns you're going to get unless you stop hammering completely, which again is really... sometimes it can seem safer to do that. It's really not. You don't want to stop hammering because depending on what he gives you the second time around, you could be in a worse spot. So rightly, Corey just keeps going with the fight. He takes the damage and knows it's not going to really make a difference. And they're both through Helma.
Yeah. And yeah, they're certainly across the first major hurdle of Dark World, which, yes, is Helmasaur. That doesn't mean that they can rest on their laurels. There is, well, how much time have we passed? 30, 35, 36 minutes? I heard that, these guys are probably expected to play at least 50 more minutes of a pretty difficult Dark World. But, just probably like Desert and, nice
anti-lottery strat
scary.
there.
Yeah, scary.
He must have been lotteried by that guy too many times, and he has just had enough. Slashing the guy out of the way. You probably still can get lotteried. Boy, anti-lottery strat there too. Wow. He does not want to get hit on this overworld, which I don't blame him. It's really miserable. Jeez. You see Corey just dash right under the first guy, which is the kind of luck you really, really want when he jumps up there. I don't think the first slash probably really solves the lottery. The delay, Corey went under both of them. That's pretty cool. I know. I don't think the delay on the second one definitely probably avoids a lot of lotteries because the guy's going to land before you dash. But I don't know if that slash really fixes the first guy's lottery. Somebody who's actually worked it out would have to tell me. I just dash normally, and if I get hit, I just blame the game for bad luck. So
every fourth frame, right? Is that what happens basically?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, this is, you don't want to lose a lot of health on the overworld in any section, and this is no different. But if you were going to lose health on an overworld in this game, you would choose this one because it's really not that significant for Thieves Town to have lots of health. You very frequently finish the entirety of the dungeon without taking additional damage. But you don't really want to start off a split like that. So I understand going full anti-lottery strats if you feel like you really just don't want to deal with for the extra, 30, 40 frames it's going to cost you to play it safe. Why not?
I actually do appreciate the fact that both Bydey and Corey ended up mirroring in different locations in the Light World. They both got their quick warps, and of course they both got their first day. But also, kind of just nice to see that there is actually some even like some minor variation for their execution. Now that being said, though, like you're absolutely correct in that actually probably. Doing in this case, like having full health going into Thieves Town, or at least like for this split, is probably more mental than anything else. Again, you don't want to be, you kind of want to be, still like on a positive outlook going in, not necessarily worried about your health. Probably just, I would say, one major location, which is of course like the Hellway on Thieves Town. That's going to probably be the most potential.
What is this strat?
It's okay.
Well, I've heard people talking again. I'm so out of the loop. I've heard people talking about a walk strat on that screen, and I'm sure there is a way to do it that is not running right into the first guard. But that's very strange to me, who does not know what the strat is supposed to look like. Corey's going to do the one that I'm more familiar with, which is just dashing straight through, which can still be a little finicky. It's a much tighter screen than it looks like. And for me, it's a screen that just I lose every once in a while for some reason. Like I just lose. You don't have a good visual for the first guard on how high to walk, and suddenly like just 3 runs in a row, you don't walk high enough, or you walk too high and you spawn the guard on the top and he's in the way. So there's a lot of stupid stuff that can go wrong on that screen.
But I guess with the dash version is just more consistent because you know like where to stop.
I don't know. I'm not familiar with the walk version.
No, I meant the dash version. Like
yeah, I mean, there's a good level of consistency, but it is a little finicky just because there's not a real big window where like, oh, you can land anywhere in this 100 pixel range. Ooh, the worst bonk in the game. Well, probably not the worst bonk in the game, but the worst bonk in the split. Bydey eats the bunny beam.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that bunny beam is excruciatingly slow, like because you just have multiple things kind of like piled up upon you, right? You turn into a bunny, which means you can't really dash. You're kind of sort of, not super mobilized.
I mean, you just take damage as fast as you can and you get out of it, and then continue on with your life. And
I guess this is probably one of those things. That's right. But probably one of those good reasons why you have a little bit of extra health coming in, because some things like this can end up happening. We are seeing Bydey actually walking the rest and not taking any more damage. So,
pretty good read. That was very. Oh my goodness! I do not endorse that strat, but it was cool looking. I had a really good read. Actually, had a very bad pattern in Hellway, and Bydey recognized like, okay, there's not much more I can do here. I'm just going to walk out. Corey also had kind of a bad pattern, took a little bit of damage. It happens. We
suddenly have a switch party on Bydey's side. Suddenly, after all of the things that have happened, we are
just unfortunate things. I don't know if that is a swag strat or if that's what he normally does. The hammer dash there. It's not a commonly seen strat for the reasons probably we just saw, but if he had pulled it off, we would be saying how cool it was. So like going for the swag, and like sometimes you gotta just kind of accept like, hey, this is gonna be cool if it works, and if it doesn't, I'm cool with that too. And I guarantee guarantee Bydey's cool with it.
Oh yeah, no. Bydey, and certainly in previous restream races, he has certainly been quite the showman in some cases. We've seen
nothing wrong. That's what this is. Right? This is a showcase, right? Like if
the finale. The finale
Bydey,
of NMG.
Big bomb drop there for Bydey.
Yeah, dude.
That's nice. So that's kind of the missing bomb. So he's got that. Whatever his route bomb wise is going to be now is kind of back to normal. Ooh, stops in the doorway there.
So you think Bydey's going to
1.5 hearts is a little dangerous here.
Okay. All right, we have gotten ourselves out of one Oko mode.
Oh, okay. I'm going to have multiple heart attacks. Bydey was playing it safe there in the jail, which also can sometimes get you into trouble because that red Zaza can just lock you in with fireballs, which will kill you if you have less than 2 hearts, which Bydey did. But we're out, and we have 2.5 hearts, which is comfortable for blind, right? Very nice room there for Corey. That's a exceptionally hard strat to execute, in my opinion.
Yeah, looks like Bydey's
very nicely done by Bydey. Yep.
Yeah, in fact, you can be on half a heart on blind, so long as you, in this case, follow the movement patterns that you are expecting and going to, I guess, puppeteer blind into. You certainly don't
Everyone
expect
can do the
that,
scripted fight until they can't.
Bydey, oh no, Bydey.
This is going to be very difficult. Left side start on this third cycle.
Worried. Okay, so Bydey is doing some. Oh my gosh, dude, I'm scared. I'm scared. He's using his menu buffers in order to try and buy himself a little bit of extra time. You can see just to try and read the positions as well. Bydey is doing a phenomenal job surviving. Go, Bydey, go. I'm so worried.
I don't even know what to say. This is just.
I cannot believe Bydey pulled this off. Oh my gosh, dude.
It is a Thieves Town to remember for all the wrong reasons, but we are through.
There is a
reason. Exhale here.
Yeah, there's a reason why Link is the hero of Hyrule. We have just demonstrated the heroic feats of surviving this dungeon. Yeah, easy. That's right. Absolutely no disasters whatsoever. Thank you, Sankart. Again, let's just bring out the hashtag right now.
Huge shout out to Sankart and the heart that we picked up in the jail there in the basement for a little bit extra comfort.
Everything contributed to the success and end result of this particular Thieves Town and blind fights. Okay, so the most important, actually, you know what? A consequence of keeping, in this case, for the NMG run, on the vanilla game, we get a whole cutscene of tech smashing, 30 to 50 seconds, depending on the dungeon, to mentally rewind, reset, and calm down after whatever experiences you may have had in the previous split.
Yeah, and it is very useful in a lot of instances for just what you're describing. So you can kind of just take that, hey. Not to mention, like, you know that even though it was like a disaster, you did come out alive, and it was pretty good that you came out alive. So you can feel positive about it coming out of there. And,
oh, for sure.
You still got a race to play here, and there's how many disasters that can happen just same like that to your opponent. So we're still very close. We have flipped kind of our positions that we had heading into Thieves Town. So now Corey holding the, decent, 30, 40 second lead, basically a crystal cutscene. I can't read his splits. They're so tiny on my screen, but going into Skullwoods now, everything looking pretty good for Corey so far, coming up on a fence dash here, which he will definitely get next run.
For some definitions of definite, yes, I wholeheartedly agree. It's okay. Bydey certainly will make up the fence dash for the both of them, and it is kind of like co-op, right? When one person
Bydey may even go back and do it a second time just to make up for the fact.
Yeah, but so certainly right now, as you mentioned, Corey has pulled up a little bit of a lead, very minor, I would say. Of course, we have seen in previous races that the person who does finish the game fastest, or faster, versus their opponents, is the one who does claim the victory. However, there is still many dungeons left to go play. I would not consider this lead of basically Crystal Cutscene to be, I would say, comfortable. Really, there are many things that can go wrong.
We got too far.
Like not the easiest room in the game. Are we still gonna get the switch? Okay, all right. At least the switch was on there enough. But yes, that was 2 extra hearts of damage that Corey, certainly would not have liked to take. He's probably still fine, but again.
Yeah, you're usually okay there. If you don't push the statue too far, then that guy just cannot possibly get in. If you do push the statue a little too far, he can, and he will hit you. And what's even worse is sometimes he will hit you, and it will make you push the statue even further. And then, like you said, you might not be able to get the statue onto the switch, and then you just lose 20 seconds in that room for no good reason. But not the ultimate tragedy for Corey. Bydey gets through pretty cleanly, making up a little bit of time already in this Skullwood split.
Yeah,
Bydey did, I want to mention for the record, bail completely on the fence dash, just walked around. So, 0 fence dashes today.
Next season. Well, maybe he also wanted to show solidarity, in this case. If Corey can't get it, then, he certainly can do it.
Very sporting.
Yeah, no early bomb jump for Bydey. I don't actually know if he normally attempts it there. We did see him certainly do it in Hera, but this one's a bit harder to do just because you don't have the very convenient menu buffer.
Yeah, definitely a little trickier. Definitely not as punishing to fail. You don't lose very much time at all for failure, but it does mess with your bomb counts, so it's not like it's completely free to attempt. Now we got a 5 heart back of skull here for Corey. That is fine, provided there's no disasters in that room, which there aren't. And then we just want to see a nice clean start to the moth fight, and this is plenty of health.
Yeah. And in this case,
to every moth fight. Ooh, that was very weird. That was weird. That wasn't even really his fault, I don't think. I don't understand why the mummy got so far right. So, of course, now he is down more hearts, and 3 hearts is a...
3 hearts is fine.
More of a thing than 5, but it's probably still fine. You just really want the double here to start this fight.
Corey has played many spoiler races, so he is no stranger to low percent stuff, don't worry. See, nobody was worried. He is absolutely fine.
Now, I do think that kind of changed his strategy on that fight, because he went for no poke dashes there, and had very good poke dash setups to start. So maybe with the 3 hearts, kind of that scared him off of doing any poke dashes and eating a hit or a weird moth movement. On Bydey's side, he's going to get the double, it looked like.
He's trying. He's
no
trying
double,
hard.
definitely not, but gets some good back and forth from Moth there to help him out. So that was only a single to start his fight, but gets good RNG to be a kind of a friendly Moth and cleans it up. So the good chunk of time there made up by Bydey in that split after the kind of disaster thieves.
Oh yeah. I'm actually kind of see maybe you like kind of like touched on this is that maybe the strategy ends up kind of changing depending on how much health he has or one has. I mean, maybe Corey only being on 3 hearts may not have wanted to risk any more health because if you end up taking 1 more, then suddenly you are basically 1 wrong breath away and from taking an early exit to Mothula. But Bydey has so much health, he can basically just keep ramming himself basically into Mothula with pretty much with no consequence. He can just try
for
to
sure.
beat us into
and it does kind of there's a truism a little bit in this game that the safest way to kill a boss is as fast as you can. So it's not exactly like sound science if you're low on health. Well, I'm just going to take this nice and slow in that fight, especially. Ooh, man, he had the RNG and it looked like he set up. He just turned too fast there. Anyway, so if it may have scared him off just for going for the poke dashes. He still obviously was not waiting around for Moth to come off the spikes or something like that, which can just take forever and get you into a lot of trouble. He was up there just instead of going for poke dashes, I'm going to slash you until you come off the wall, which is fine. And he got through. They both got hit.
I know, they both.
That's
right?
unbelievable.
We are synced, in screens, in RNGs apparently, and in movements.
Whatever tragedies we've seen so far, that has eclipsed them because that is just a big bummer for both of them. Corey doesn't even get the heart there from the bush. Picks up the bush trying for the heart drop. That's actually incredible. Both players getting hit there. That's like one of the earliest swag moves on an RNG that you can. Oh man, really bad RNG for Corey. Yeah. Not getting any hearts.
Does this actually work? Okay, I didn't actually. Yeah, I mean, so it looks like actually Corey even has an emote for Quick Fish. Bydey was. I don't know what type of setup I guess Bydey maybe used to for Quick Fish, but it was one I had not been familiar with, and it looks like also was not successful. So
yeah, looks like Bydey was trying to land where he thought he needed to be. Corey really couldn't go for it since he had the bush. Which I guess definitely. You could if you knew a setup from walking from the bush. Maybe you could go for it, but he didn't. He didn't want to do that. Bydey also did not get his extra heart. He tried to throw the rock at the crab, couldn't get it. You do have a couple more attempts here if you really, really want to farm for that heart. Which you probably, at this point, you've sunk so much time into it, and it is potentially very significant. We'll see what kind of RNG these crabs start out with on the screen that Corey's going to enter in a second, and he'll probably just decide if one's close enough to go for.
Okay. Yeah, because, I mean, I hope we're not going to fall into any type of, fallacy.
Okay. He could have gone for the heart there, but he's just going to get off the screen as fast as he can, which is also completely valid. Hey, I've already tried to get this heart. The game doesn't want me to have the heart. I'm not going to get the heart.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And as you mentioned before, Bydey looks like he was trying to go for the quick fish, and so he ended up picking the rock up, which I don't think gives you a heart, right? Or maybe it does. But
right.
Yeah.
So you're just picking the rock up to try and hit the crab. Mm-hmm. Corey just going for it, Corey.
Yeah.
He is not gonna.
Well, we have no beams. Okay. Well, it's fine. I mean, maybe
heart doesn't matter. The
half
heart there doesn't matter.
Yeah, he's probably just more annoyed the fact that he got damage boosted backwards, and he has to, you know, kind of just make up that little bit of extra distance before going to the portal. Still, extremely close race, you know, because we're basically, what, 2 to 3 screens between Bydey and your Corey here?
Let's see what Bydey... All right, Bydey just rolls in, gets the slash off, which is usually what you're going to do, because you have some time to read. I mean, I guess it's not that much worth going with the dash. I've just never seen the dash there.
Would you use the fire rod at all?
Should hit, right? Yeah, he's good.
Would you use the fire rod at all for the first Bari?
And you'll get the heart here to have full hearts for
conveyor room.
That
that was surprisingly high, actually. Yeah, oh no, I was gonna wonder in this case, like so Corey ended up dashing.
Yeah, for conveyor here, he's got the beams, good damage boosts, gets through. Ooh, he's not in the right spot. Yep. He recognized it at least. He's just gonna bail.
Alright. Real good read and kind of like recovery here. You can spare an extra bomb. I hope not. Wayne, can you hear me?
I think we're good.
Okay.
I couldn't hear you for a little bit, but I think that was on my end.
Okay. I see. I understand now.
I would never knowingly speak over you.
Oh, no.
Corey had to bail on his stair clip there. Unfortunately, got a little bit misaligned. He was way too low.
You mentioned this earlier, though, right? About being able to recover. You know, top level runners, I think, is actually. I mean, so they do that extremely well, and it's just kind of. It's very, very subtle. And what I like to say is it's an underrated skill because it's something that, well, you really can only improve upon if disasters happen. Granted, you will have a lot of disasters probably happen, but it is certainly one thing to be able to hone that skill and make it constructive.
I think we said the word disaster too many times leading into cold stare, so I don't know if that's good luck or bad luck, but Corey dropping in there.
As long as this fight goes okay. all prayers. Looks good so far. Nice.
Very nice. Very nice. Very nice, clean, consistent. Looked crisp. We got Bydey going in. I don't know if he is a single poke or double poke.
This might be a Bydey strat.
Bydey has a Bydey strat. That's right. Bydey has a Bydey strat here. All right. Hold on to your butts. He's going to hit him left, right? This is the left hit.
Oh,
nope. Oh boy.
This is maybe not unique to Bydey, unfortunately, but this. Okay, everything's fine. All right, Bydey cannot.
He cannot get hit by another ice drop. Yes.
Okay.
Which he is successfully done. Okay.
Nobody should have been worried after we saw what happened on Blind and Thieves Town. Yeah, really.
Anyway, now we can talk disasters. Now let's talk disasters. To answer your question, yes, recovery from disasters is an important part of being a speedrunner of this game. It is actually probably like the main skill from like that separates a 126 player and a 124 player. I mean, like most people are doing the same stuff that they're doing at 126, and they're still doing that same stuff at 124, and stuff is still going wrong. But they just know how to recover so much better. They know a backup strat when this fails. They know, oh, hey, if this thing that's bad happens in this screen, do X, Y, Z. Because, like you said, they've messed it up before. They know what not to do. And that's really all this game is knowing what not to do. And once you learn all the things not to do, you're really, really good. So...
How big is the solution space of things not to do, Wayne, versus...
Well, it's pretty endless. it's pretty endless.
All right, we got that for the record here.
Like, sometimes you need to be reminded, and you're like, oh yeah, I knew that was the thing not to do, and now I remember. But there's every run, you're probably finding more things to add to your kind of logbook of things to not do.
All right, well, okay, so speaking of things potentially to do or not do, we actually do see Bydey and Corey actually going to go get their Ether Medallion first. Maybe not necessarily the... Well, I guess maybe it's up to people's choice about how good or bad they feel about spin speed. It seems like maybe the stubbornness is also sinking in for Corey for spin speed, because he is adamant. He also was successful in getting the Death Mountain spin speed for probably the final one. But in this case, we actually did see that he took a little bit of damage, which, if you're going to go into Swamp for, is precisely the reason why you're willing to do another spin speed. And if you end up, like, well, taking damage right here, going to Swamp is significantly better than going into Mire and not having Sword Beams.
Yeah, what's not better is, even though I'm a fan of the shopping that Bydey is doing, did unfortunately run right into that crab there, so he's even lower on health than Corey is. Also, a little bit of a meme spin speed off this screen, but love to add spin speeds in when you can. It's fine. Probably saves a single-digit number of frames. But yes, we do have some divergence here, most notably Bydey picking up all of his shopping, Corey just doing Ether Medallion. So we won't be synced for a while, assuming Corey's going to pick up his Ice Rod in Turtle Rock.
Oh, before, as in, we're going to do it right before Turtle Rock. We're going to go to Mire directly after this.
There is almost no reason, unless you are a long Swamp gamer, and don't have a bomb in Swamp, to get Ice Rod in Mire. You would just get it in Turtle Rock.
Right. That's right. We actually did see Bydey actually having 0 bombs right now. But yeah, one of the bombs that he ended up using, actually, yes, was for the Ice Rod Cave, well, entrance in this case. There is, for what it's worth, a 50-50 bomb if you want to gamble a little bit, so you're not like completely dead for whatever reason if the crabs don't really go your way. But yeah, that's
yeah, that is definitely not a strat that anybody would do unless they lost a bomb on that screen. But there's plenty of bombs, extra bombs you can pick up here in Swamp if you're completely out. If you really screwed things up, you can pick up the 3 bombs on your way to drain the dam if you really wanted to do that.
That's
yeah,
true.
so
that is true. They do come with the cost of the text box, though.
Yeah, it's a costly 3 bombs, but there's a number of bombs here in Swamp you can pick up if you were completely low. Corey's gonna have to figure out how to deal with this guy.
Yeah, I don't know.
Not a great situation.
I was actually wondering if that Staffel was gonna basically get in his way and hit the switch. It wasn't, but then as the water was draining, it's just like, he looks like he's trapped. What is going to happen?
Does not fully trap you like that very often. Sometimes he'll kind of be in the way, getting close, and you might have to get some good iframes on the way out of the room. But it didn't turn into one of those you try to slash the jelly and you accidentally hit the switch, and now you have to flip the switch back, which, again, that's kind of happened to everybody at least once. But Corey got out. Minimal time lost. Bad RNG. What are you going to do?
Pro tip, don't drain the water with sword beams. And active on the game screen. You do not want to spend any extra time in Swamp, and you will really, really feel the effects of how slow water draining can be. Not recommended whatsoever.
Yeah, a lot of finicky lag screens here in Swamp. There's just weird. A lot of the screens, you'll notice, like every time we go back to the main screen, the main room with the big chest, that the enemies that you've killed stay dead. They don't respawn, even when you walk all the way over to the left side of the dungeon. And there's just some weird element of lag based on like what you've killed and where it was and stuff that just ends up, I feel like, becoming a cumulative effect, and it can save time on the cutscene post Argus. It's just a weird place.
Really?
There's I'm talking without full knowledge, and somebody who has more knowledge than me can probably correct me and tell me how wrong I am, but there's definitely some weird instance of like you're saving lots of lag on the Argus. Oh, we're going top here for Bydey.
And taking a hit as a result. Yep. All right. Is that karma?
Cost. Yeah. It's just the cost of doing business there. Anyway, weird stuff like you want to grab the railing when you're draining that first room, unless you've killed the red jelly, because then if you've killed the red jelly, there's not enough enemies alive to make the screen lag as much. Stuff like just weird stuff in Swamp. It's a weird place. Get out of here as fast as you can.
Yeah. The Swamp is like, you actually talk about, well, you can have an extremely long Swamp split. We do not want to spend any extra time in this split than we have to. Everything in this dungeon basically is trying to reduce the number of speed, or the amount of speed, or how fast.
And there's swimming rooms. Like it's just miserable.
Exactly.
So we're gonna see Corey on Argus here. Ooh, gets rushed a little bit on the first cycle, but pulls it off very nicely.
Yeah, very, very well done. I mean, sometimes like when Argus basically kind of like rushes you in the bottom, it is quite
I'm not
difficult.
gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it.
Yeah, it's so we have seen in this case that more often than not, you know, these 2 fire rod shots plus a spin speed, you know, is certainly going to be maybe faster. You know, in the best case. However, for consistency, you know, there's a lot of merit for just spinning twice. That's it.
I'm glad somebody else said it. Is all.
Yes. We're gonna see what this case with Bydey. I don't actually know if he has a different, you know, Bydey specific strat, but I mean, certainly you can't argue with results for Corey's 0 cycle Argus, at least for phase 1.
Yeah, it was actually very good because that fast movement on the first move can really mess up your setup if you have a more specialized setup or something that you're kind of anticipating that not happening, or even just noticing like, hey, he's moving really fast, and you don't adjust your own speed and pace because based on how far away your hook shot has to travel, you have to amend your next shots and stuff like that. And a little unfortunately, we see Bydey miss his and drop his hook a little bit. He's gonna clean. Oh boy! Don't Bydey. Okay, we're fine.
It's okay. We have seen Bydey perform at his peak when he is one hit from
1 hearts. It's just scary because I would get hit and.
Nobody is ever worried for Bydey.
Bydey is actually contractually obligated to not finish a boss fight with more than 2 hearts. Oh man! All right, so this was. I said this wasn't going to happen. I said he was going to get it in Turtle Rock. I do not know what his splits are. I thought that that's where he got it. It really doesn't make a ton of sense to get it in Mire for. This is one of the reasons. Number one, you just have it in your menu now. You're going to go to Fire Rod and Mire. It's going to be a slightly longer menu. And number 2, if you get absolutely destroyed, it's a much bigger deal in Mire, as much as you don't want that to happen in Turtle Rock. 3 hearts is a big deal here in Mire, and Corey's going to have to adjust a number of rooms here to save some health.
How much? Well, okay, so if he...
Don't get hit by this guy.
Yep, yes. Breathing. We can certainly kind of like mentally and physically reset here. Okay, so we are down 3 hearts. If he doesn't spark gamble, as in he just loses like what, the 3 hearts from the spike chest, is he gonna have enough basically for Vitreous, or we're basically still kind of.
He's gonna. The first thing he's gonna have to do is in the room after Mire 2, he's going to have to decide whether he's okay just getting hit if the fire snake is in his way as he dashes to the staircase. Now he may not care. He may just go for it. He does have... Oh, he's probably going to walk and pick that heart up. Yeah. That's a big sigh of relief, getting an extra heart back. It's much better now to only be missing 2. So like this guy up here can sometimes just hit you. Now he's not going to hit Corey because Corey got good RNG. So now he's just going to lose these 3 hearts, and that should be it for the rest of the dungeon.
Because you can always get 1 back right before the basement, correct?
Yeah,
like from the pod.
He can even spark gamble, so he's fine. Even if he loses 4, he can pick up an extra heart. He probably won't spark gamble just to have a little bit extra. Kind of a race strat. I don't know. We'll see what he does.
Yeah, we can actually see in this case kind of like the contrast here for Bydey. Oh, maybe not.
Whoa, Bydey got a little bit. Yeah, it wouldn't have mattered anyway, but he did get kind of Secret Service agent Popo jumping in front of the Wizrobe there.
Yeah, I certainly kind of like also like the read on Corey's side in order to take care of the bomb slug and the Bari. Always fire rod and burn the Bari. Do not slash your sword. You're just going to be in. You're just going to be in feels bad mode the entire time as you're sitting through this cutscene because you're gonna take damage. Yeah.
And you're about to fill your magic up anyway, so use that magic.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, because Corey ended up using the fire rod in the first room, like you saw kind of how long that burning animation is. You know, probably one of the reasons why you don't want to use it in this case on the Popos. But you know, it's your kind of like only ranged weapon that's consistently fast like that. He had enough time to go pick up basically that extra heart, because otherwise you're just gonna be at the door waiting, right? So you may as well end up in this case kind of use up some of your extra slack.
Did Bydey just get his 2nd bomb drop of that prize pack?
Wait, did he really? He has 2 bombs. I was not watching. Both give free bomb RNG.
Oh, maybe he got it from the slug. He may have got it from the slug. I wasn't watching. Why would I watch? Yeah, so no spark gamble here for Corey. It makes complete sense. Just don't run into the fire snake.
Yeah, Yeah,
That's always fun when you don't spark animal, then you just walk into the fire snake.
Yeah, that was basically just pay the cost, but you can't even play the game. It's pretty disappointing. Hey, look, we got some Aria. Okay, yeah, and in this case, so Corey's gonna go into the basement with all but one. I don't know. We're gonna lose three more hearts of health here.
Yeah, then Corey's fine. Corey's fine unless a further disaster strikes or we lose an extra heart here, and even he's still fine now.
So we're gonna go into with 7 hearts. Okay, so 7 hearts I have been told is comfy. Going into Vitreous. 5 is minimal. Survival mode. Spark Gamble? Not quite. Bydey tried.
Going for it, but I mean, you can technically do Bydey with 5. You don't want to have to, but you can. I think you can actually even do it with 3, but you really don't want to have to do it with 3.
You could actually do this with 3 fight?
It's just a different finishing strat where you're not gonna take with the last heart of damage. But I don't really know very many players who practice it, and if you made me do it, I would not be able to.
So 5 certainly does seem a bit more. Yeah, well, right. So I mean, even 5 like kind of doing this is scary.
Like, yeah, love to see that quick hop. Anyway, yes, everybody. Corey is completely comfortable with 7 hearts, 6 hearts. Even if he had 6 hearts, it'd be fine. I mean, you might be kind of annoyed at the events that transpired that got you to 6 hearts, but you know you can do the fight with 6.
Yeah, we even have in this case swapped out to arrows, just in case. Of course, we want to be able to do that. I
was scared that he was too high there. That was really tight.
Really nice fight.
We are through.
Side. Yeah, a little bit of extra cleanup, but I mean, still got the 0 cycle, which is exactly what you want to see. And we even have 3 hearts to spare. So, oh no, Bydey! Oh no, Bydey! Run and walk. Yeah, whatever.
I do not like the walk strat in that room, but just simply missed the. You just missed the torch. It's okay.
Yeah, he ended up shooting his fire rod either he was shooting it up, but it just ended up not hitting the torch. Which,
you can shoot it from. Most people you'll see dash up and shoot it to the right, but you can just walk and shoot it up, but just a little bit misaligned.
Really nice cleanup on Bydey's side as well. Didn't even have to slash it, but all the arrows landed very well, and we have 8 arrows left. Yeah, this looks actually really nice for both Corey and Bydey.
Just a cutscene behind again for Bydey, which is a place that he's been before in this.
Oh yeah. All things said and done, it's actually quite amazing. So yeah, you mentioned this case, so we did get actually a little bit sinking, probably more earlier than maybe we would have expected. But yeah, so after all this said and done, though, we've got everything. We are gonna get Dead Rock.
Ooh, very nice.
Very nice use of that pause buffer, basically to switch over to the hook. Oh no. We were so close to go get in Waffle House.
We wanted the Waffle House, but
yeah, the game was not having it today. Also, not
there are some
beams. I mean, which is I think fine. Which is pretty much actually the norm. But yeah.
Yeah, you're certainly well prepared to enter T-Rock without beams because that does happen quite often. It is nice to have beams. There's some jellies in that first. I don't know what to call it, room, but that you can just kind of not have to worry about because you have beams. We're gonna. Oh, okay, got through.
There's
gonna get extra block there.
Yeah, so some of
that's
these.
the worst screen in the game, by the way. That is the worst screen. In the game.
That one of all screens, there are like 500 some screens, and that was the worst one.
100% the worst screen in the game. Worst dead rocks. Those two dead rocks are the worst dead rocks. We're gonna see him do something stupid to Bydey probably.
Well, yeah. So far though, Bydey is taking 0 damage, which is well, we're certainly not out of the Death Mountain woods quite yet. In fact, we're probably still in the thick of things. But if Bydey is nope, never mind. You might be correct in that those two are the worst dead rocks in the game.
It's so just it's my least favorite screen. It's not like the hardest screen, but it's the worst screen because it's just unfair.
Actually, see a little bit of crowding here on the dead rocks for Bydey to get into the rock as well. Is it free?
Bydey was a little close to jumping off the top of Turtle Rock there. That would have been unfortunate. So I know, I believe Corey got the heart drop on the Hurry Up, so he should be due his fairy next, which is how you'd like to have it set up. That way you can get your beams for Chomps. Speed that up a little bit. We'll see if he gets his fairy drop.
So you actually do want, ideally, like your fairy drop at Poke 1, like right before Chomps as opposed to kind of after.
As long as you don't take so much damage getting into Turtle Rock that you need the extra heart here to get on beams, yes, I would say.
Sounds good. We do actually have, man, they're the enemy drop prizes are so plentiful. It seems like the seed. All right, we got we even got the big magic as well. Not of course strictly necessary or anything like that. No, nice Chomps there for Corey.
But yeah, you see how nice it is to have beams there. Just speeds it up, simplifies it. As long as you don't get really blocked. Ooh, Bydey missing the hook shot. Ultimate feels bad. Happens to everybody. Happens to me all the time, actually.
It's okay. It's some sort of record somewhere. Yeah, we actually do see, I think, Corey ended up doing this as well, Bydey taking the damage boost. And yeah, we actually see that the fairies do heal 7 hearts of damage. And I think Bydey also has a fairy coming up. I did not see.
He hasn't lost his fairy yet. I don't think he's got his heart yet, though. So now he may get both drops like Corey, but
yeah, because how many drops or 0? Yeah, I was gonna ask. Like, I think every Poke can drop up to 3 things. Is that something like that, or maybe 2?
We're just going top here.
Nice.
Yeah, each Poke can have 2 drops. Yep.
Okay. A little unlucky, certainly for Bydey, in that nothing really kind of appeared. I mean, but every drop is 50-50, so that is part of the RNG of this game that you have to account for. Poke's can have
that was actually
interesting.
Poke's can have 3 drops. Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, so the key Poke can drop 2, but yes. Technically correct is the best kind of correct, I suppose.
That's right, that is correct. Yeah, so we actually do see that, maybe not the best Poke RNG in this case for Poke's do, however, they were so far, Corey did not have to worry about picking up the red rupee, or probably more importantly that he cares about is the 8-bomb pack.
Both players got very nice, easy Poke RNG there for the key, which is always nice. You don't want to have to do the hard one if you don't want to. Bydey is still waiting on his fairy.
We are all waiting.
There are some RNGs. There are some RNGs here that can make it a little tricky to get the fairy, but he's not so low on health that if he doesn't get his fairy, he'll be in any kind of trouble or anything like that. You'd like to get it.
You certainly don't expect anything terrible to happen in
and honestly, in a race, you probably even would go out of your way for it too. So.
Okay, you know what? Even that Poke was extremely dangerous.
I don't know about entering the room with your sword facing left. Very nice, fast laser skip for Corey there.
Yeah, and at least at this point, both Corey and Bydey are going to go into the Trinex fight with looks like relatively full health. Basically.
Oh, that's the worst. Corey getting just a little block misplacement.
We still have full health. That is what the important part is. But yes, he's probably just more annoyed at this point at the time loss.
Yeah, it's just you tried to go too fast is all. It's just one of those.
Imagine
I pressed the buttons. I pressed the buttons on the same frame, but the block went the wrong way.
All right, I think these guys both do kind of like the more textbook version. There's no like in this case like double poke or whatever to try and save some of the magic refill. Just gonna basically use our fire rods and all our shots.
Yep, and good read for Corey, slowing down after the first shot missed, no panic. Ooh, Bydey had the fast skip and gets a little bullied. He's on a not worrying amount of health, but
he can still take 1 hit. It only just takes 1 as a buffer. If he ends up, oh my god! All right, everything is fine. I'm sure what Bydey would have been. Bydey was unscathed leaving Poke. That's the important part.
And honestly, Trinex is not a boss you're really taking a hit too much on. And if you do, it's usually multiple, so it's not like having the health to survive 1 is what you're looking for, but...
Yeah. I will say it's kind of nice to have at least 5 hearts going into this fight, at least 4 faced.
For sure, you always want the nice comfy knowledge.
Yeah,
hey, if I try to swag bonk over his head and I mess it up, like I can take the hit and it's not a big deal.
Alright, we're not going to necessarily go head on, but Bydey still does a nice job cleaning up phase 2. Alright, well, we are, pretty much after all the said and done for Turtle Rock, we're still about roughly a cutscene apart.
Yeah, Corey definitely picked up a little bit more time following that. Had a nice solid T-Rock there. has expanded his lead to the point where it's it's pretty. You don't want to say anything's decided because there's still a lot of stuff that can go wrong. But this is not a gap that Bydey can make up on his own with execution. This is going to take some misfortunes from Corey.
Maybe we can toss over a rupee or two to bribe some of the minions that are going to get in Corey's way. But yeah, but I think you're right. I mean, you can obviously see that Bydey and Corey are extremely talented in terms of like their execution. And I mean, the fact that, like, yes, we've seen some pretty scary, edge of our seats disasters, but you also see just how, Bydey and Corey have kind of, like, recovered from them.
Yeah, the best thing about an event like this is if you're not a top-tier player, you get to watch the top-tier players and realize how many mistakes that they make and how they just go on and keep playing and do well on the next split, or et cetera, et cetera. And yeah. I remember some of the early events when I was first starting out. It was nice to see, like, instead of expecting perfection, I should just kind of be accepting that bad stuff's going to happen and learn how to deal with the bad stuff.
Mm-hmm. So I guess, like, if you're in Corey's position and maybe you have a pulse on the sense of, like, the state of the match, like, would you try and play things a bit more conservatively, or in order to basically, like, you think that your buffer is kind of, like, big enough such that you can try and prevent or mitigate some of the major disasters that could happen if you do more, I don't know, faster, riskier strats?
I mean, you may. I have no indication that Corey's actually watching or knows where he's at. He doesn't seem to have altered anything that he's doing based off any other previous knowledge of what Bydey has done or has not done. But if he was kind of keeping some tabs, maybe if you experience a disaster somewhere, then you can make a decision. But I think right now, if he knows he's 40-ish seconds ahead, he just plays his game. And if he has some kind of major disaster, then he can say, all right, well, I just lost 30 seconds. Now I'm going to do X, Y, Z. He's probably just going to execute. The easiest strat is the one that you already know. So
very fair.
He'll just go with that. And, if something bad does happen and he has a terrible gauntlet, or I'm trying to come up with scenarios where he could lose tons of time and there's still game left for him to change his strategies on. I don't know, like right, 6 cycle Landmo 2, and then he might not hover Moldorm or something like that.
All right, yeah, I think that's totally reasonable. I should just. Okay,
I love this room.
The good news is that we have plenty of arrows, and if he really needs them, there are 5 arrows also in the pot, but really nice mimics too. I know that Corey has been, that was one of the rooms I think he really kind of spent time focusing on as well. So.
And it's a good feeling as a runner when you mess up Mimics 1 and come back and just nail Mimics 2. That's actually a really good feeling.
Yeah, looks super tight.
And he had a very clean Mimics 2 there, following slight misstep in Mimics 1, so it's good when you can just put it right behind you instantly.
Good read on the cannonball bridge as well. He has been playing this game before.
Only 2 arrows here for Gauntlet, which is not exactly where you want to be. Ooh, and uses one there.
Yeah,
That's
that was actually very interesting. I was not expecting that because I thought, maybe you want to try and save an arrow or two. But listen, we got some pots.
I'm gonna pick up the arrows there. Yeah. Tried to slash his way through that room. Gauntlet 2 is so hard.
And the rest of the gauntlet. We are also coming for the pink side. That arrow strat, honestly, like to shoot one in the center for that room, I think is actually super nice. It just really tries to, like, if it, more often than not, it'll probably just, like, pin the red Isaac, which is exactly where you want him to stay, which is not moving.
It's a good safety strat that really has kind of become, like, commonplace now. Bydey, unfortunately, going upstairs with 0 arrows is not at all where you want to be. Corey just tried to save that bad RNG. Unfortunately, he can't. So we're going to see Bydey with 0 arrows here, have to navigate Gauntlet 1, which is just not the spot you want to be in.
I mean,
I had an idea coming into the room, but it did not work.
No, I have seen some good RNG for enemy patterns that you actually can basically, I think what he was trying to do is just kind of like dash up and then kind of like take care of most of them, but yeah, it certainly does not have to work out. But we got arrows now, we get to see...
love that arrow from Bydey, that was pretty cool. Almost never see the left shot there, and it worked out perfectly.
Hey, you know what's also a terrible screen, as one of the worst ones potentially, is that bridge in GT when you get bodied. Pretty much any bridge in this game is pretty miserable. That one, for some reason, I don't know. Like, yeah, like, yes, you fall. I don't know. That one just seems a bit more painful.
Oh, Bydey's gonna do some more memeing here.
Oh.
All right, let's go. Trying to one cycle this with the spin. Can't.
Man.
Just a little bit too late, but
yeah. But we got 2 out of 3 in the first cycle. That's actually really nice. Yeah, at this point, I fully expected expect Bydey and Corey to go for basically the pre-Moldarm small key. Yeah, and of course, in this case, we get the free quick warp over, or sorry, quick warp, it's swapping over basically for, you know, a little bit of menu save because we actually just brought ourselves on a bomb, so you don't have any more in your inventory, it just automatically goes to the next one, so you can save yourself just a little bit of menu time.
ooh, I thought he was gonna go for the hover because he bailed out of that dash so fast. No hover for Corey. We're just gonna kill him the old-fashioned way.
Would you even, okay, how consistent of a hover do you think you have to be in this case if you know that you were, let's say, like 30 to 40 seconds ahead? Would you just wait it out? Or would you actually still just go with the thing that you know? Or that, that you would normally go do?
If he knows he's more than a failed hover ahead, like maybe get a little interesting torch lighting order there for Bydey. It's definitely a strat.
I do like, you know, the creativity of Bydey. I mean, you know, and again, sometimes these things can look, you know, a bit like unconventional, but, you know, Bydey knows how to get the job done, so can't ever argue with his results. Ooh, all right.
There are worse things that you can do in a showcase race than showcase things, so it's unfortunate with the blue ball there for Corey, but
bad luck here. All right. And so he's, I mean, sometimes
that's a nice little hover for Bydey there.
Bydey is saving some time, you know? This is exactly, I think, what he probably needs in order to at least get a little bit of time back.
And hey, now at this point, you know, Corey zigs when he should zag on Ganon. Suddenly, could be in a situation where Bydey's caught up enough.
Mm-hmm. And we do, in this case, have different Ganon warps potentially, right, between Corey and Bydey?
Yeah, it would be a lot of warps at this point, but stranger things have happened. I don't know.
Yeah.
Standard disclaimer.
We're gonna have to see in this case. We don't have silvers. We're very typical, of course, of this run, and well, you know, okay. Well, we don't have to talk about any disasters. We're just gonna assume that both the torches are going to be always lit at the very end for phase 4. But until phase 4, we had to go through phases 1 and 2 first. I think he got the double spin at the very beginning off the trident, and right now we're just basically trying to get through.
Looks like a clean 1-1. We'll try to exit without taking damage from the bats.
Yeah, it looks pretty good. Certainly off the more dangerous of I'm going to die if I get hit phase. Now we're entering the I'm going to fall if I get hit phase. Arguably just as painful. You just don't get the...
Oh yeah,
you don't get the dying.
Falling much worse than dying. Gonna expect that to happen. Looks like Corey's gonna move on to phase 4 here. And really just needs to light the torch to salt this one away. Gonna go for the distance light.
No!
Oh no! Okay, he should have enough buffer to still close this out, provided he knows the order here.
Yeah. So okay, I have been told that it is consistent that you can do, like the movements are pretty set. And
he needs to not kill himself there. Okay, he's fine.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, it doesn't matter what phase. We are. Oh, no. Do not get too close to Ganon.
Well, Bydey has a half heart as well, so and he's missed his 1-1.
Oh,
there's too many things to watch that's going on right now. He needs to get these off screen. He's okay, it's fine.
So scared for Bydey and for Corey.
So notably for Corey, he's a little bit lower on magic now. Bydey still has these bats coming out of Ganon. But he should be okay now. Things have settled down. And he's on to phase 4.
Yeah. All right, let's see in this case if Bydey can get.
We're getting a 2-1 here to have that one out. He is probably going to get an extra cycle there as well. Bydey has got his torch lit with the lamp.
Yeah, definitely looked like he wasn't going to take any more chances. Oh my gosh, I'm so scared for both Corey and Bydey.
There's some dodging that is required for Bydey still. The hits on the top are going to be a little bit scarier for Bydey. Typically, if you're going to get hit with a bat in phase 4, it's going to be on the top shot. But as long as Bydey doesn't misstep, he should be fine.
Yeah.
Say with a question mark.
Yeah, I look like he's been getting his triples into.
There we go.
Yeah, but oh wow, how the tables have flipped in this case for Bydey in his favor. get your GGs out in chat for Bydey taking this, well, at least his tournament within the Tower of Hera to be a 2-1 and a direct victory over Corey, and a 11th hour switch. 126.54. We won 26. Right.
I know. I had fun.
Oh no!
Hopefully our runners did too. That was there was some fun stuff happening.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
Okay, please don't fall again.
What Corey did was really great. I think he let go of the D-pad, and so he didn't actually he didn't go any directions, which exactly what you want to do is not to move basically off the platform.
And you better kill him on this hit. Yeah. Okay.
Oh no.
Unfortunate.
Yeah, that might be GG's for Corey.
Yeah. That is a thing that happens. He was down a couple fire rod shots to start the fight from his phase 4 of the first fight. I think he's really only one hit short, but GG's to both runners. That was a fun time and really linked to the past in a nutshell.
We are also joined by Bydey and Corey. GG's guys. I mean, it was a race.
Yeah, no. I'm not upset about that. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was an absolute shambles, but it was fun too. That's all I wanted to have tonight. I've had a really busy weekend, and I just wanted to have some fun, and I had some fun and try to put on a show, and I hope you all had fun.
Yeah,
we sure did.
I mean, there's not too much to talk about with the run. Like they were kind of shit, but it was a lot of fun playing through the race. And I did I don't know, some overconfidence. I thought I'd try something fancy.
What happened in the end? I don't actually know what happened.
I missed torch glitch, went to do lamp triples, and walked into Ganon.
Oh, so you died on Ganon?
Yeah, and then ran out of magic.
Oh.
So
I didn't quite catch what happened, but
I think I was okay. But yeah, I accidentally just uprighted directly into Ganon because he was right next to the torch.
Oh, I know what you're saying. Yeah, I've done that so many times. It's not even funny. I do it on the top. I do it on the top left. You know how you go into phase 4 and then you pause at the top left and then you do the fire rod when the tile drops?
Yeah, that's what I tried to do, except I tried to do it without the menu.
Okay, I see.
And then I missed it. And then I fired an extra fire rod shot, and that got it, but it was late. So then I'm like, well, now I can't even do my strat and show that off. So, what do I do?
Yeah, that's fair.
It happens. It's fine.
The boss fights were the theme of this one, I would say. I think maybe Helmasaur was the last boss you killed, Bydey, that you had more than 2 hearts at the end of the fight.
Yeah, it was so rough. I wasn't even trying not to. I just kept messing them up. I couldn't.
I almost had to turn my monitor off during that blindfold. I was losing my shit.
I thought I was dead for sure. When you get in that situation, it was straight up. I think what happened is I had down left and I went into I was facing left and I slashed. That's what happened, and then it was just.
Oh no! Yeah, that sucks.
So I've been kind of trying out this new grip as well for a little bit, so kind of a little bit of that as well, but not using it as an excuse.
Yeah, I mean, I think all things considered, I was pretty proud of how most of that went. Moldorn being Moldorn was fun. I think most of my boss fights were pretty good. It was just, trying to keep the whole thing together, to be honest.
Oh, I was going to say, do you always get... I didn't realize that you got the ice rod on Mire. That's absolutely brutal, dude.
Oh, yeah, that was fun. I didn't even think about that. I was like, well, that's basically like a Wizrobe hit. If I get, Praise Duck, if I get some health, then I'm okay. I was seriously considering, do I have to hover this thing to not have a really terrible Vitreous fight, but luckily
I think that actually is the strat. If you get hit by the slug, the best thing to do is to actually just not spike cave and hover and get it on 2 or 3 tries, and you save time plus saves health. It's actually a good backup.
I mean, if you hover well, then you can save time, but God, is that sweaty.
Yeah. Well, I mean, saving the hearts versus like doing the bridge.
Most important. Yeah, the health's the most important thing in a race for sure. But luckily I got back to like -2, so I was like in Spark Gamble territory on most of my normal runs, so no problems there.
Yeah, definitely some ups and downs. Ups and downs in this one that were on both sides really pretty fun to watch. And, you know, like you get in these situations, you guys have done enough NMG races now that, you know, you're both probably pretty comfortable with, hey, bad stuff's going to happen and it's going to be fun and I'll roll with it. So that's kind of the spirit of this whole event, really. And I think it was embodied pretty well by what we saw tonight. It was a lot of fun.
If someone didn't clip that Kadongo bonk, I'll be very sad.
And the drop. Getting the drop from it too, like ultimate, like instant reward for a cool strat that was actually like what you should do in that spot. Really, really cool.
I've never done it, but I've seen Eddie do it. That's how I knew it was feasible, but I've never had the RNG to line up. So it's literally the first time I've ever done that. So
yeah, it doesn't happen very often. It really doesn't happen often. It's not a thing that is common or, you know, gives you an opportunity to kind of practice it even. So it's really cool pulling it out, reading it and pulling it out in a race. Really, really cool. Speaking of reading things, you guys both, this was not a major thing at all considering everything else that happened, but you both got hit by the spear throwing guy on the Ice Palace split.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was unbelievable. Yeah. I don't know how I got hit. I was facing left and he hit me.
I thought I messed it up, but like I got frame ruled. So I actually do that in Eastern Palace in the like Octorok overworld. I will turn right and like block the Octorok shot if I get that RNG. And I tried to do that today and it just didn't. And I was like, all right, cool.
Yeah, I saw a little bit of bad luck there. Just I don't know if that was, you know.
And then the spear guard just was like
turn.
I thought I had turned too early. I don't know.
Yeah, it's funny. Like it's one of those things. Like we all learn that fairly early on. Like this swag kind of, hey, read this RNG and you can look cool running off the screen. And then when it pops up, it's a feel good moment. And then you both got hit by. It was just crazy. And it even looked like I think somebody in chat said that like they slowed Bydey's down and it looked like the shield, the spirit hit the shield, and then he still got hit by it. So
yeah,
it was probably just frame perfect on maybe even both your sides.
It was insane that I got hit by that. I actually could not believe it. My face was a sight to see when I got hit by that.
Yeah, just a little microcosm of what of what the rest of the run was.
There's also
then I get no health for the rest of the overworld. That was fun.
Yeah, neither of you did. However much you tried to farm hearts there, it was just like, all right, well, we're going in without full hearts. Whatever.
That's all right. At least we have quick fish.
We had quite the bomb disparity in pod. I think you had 8.
I've never seen
5 at one point. That was insane.
Unless somebody dies to Helmasaur and gets to go back through, I couldn't believe there was a difference of 3, and it all evened out in the end. So it was actually didn't even really matter. It was just funny to see.
Yeah, I got the bomb drop in Hera. Is what happened.
Yeah, me too, actually. Oh no, sorry, Hera. I got the one in. Sorry, I actually cycled the prize pack again. I got 2 bombs at the prize pack.
Yeah, I got
no. Actually, no, it's a slug. Never mind. Sorry, that was a slug. My bad.
Yeah, I had the same thought when you got the bomb. I had the same thought. I was like, did he go through the prize pack again? But it was just you both got from the slug there.
I did get to the second arrows and I missed them because it was the stupid red Stelthos in TR, and I was mad. But what are you gonna do?
Yeah, there was so much to talk about. It was ups and downs in this. What was the blue ball? 1 and 2, was it?
Yeah,
1 versus 2. Yep.
At least that wasn't 1 versus 500, which is always good.
Yeah, not fun when that happens. I was glad that it stayed relatively close. So what happened what was the first thing that happened in Thieves Town? Because I was like, I went through Hellway and did attic and was like backtracking, and then I happened to like, I looked up and I was like ahead of you, and I was like, wait, what What?
You know what? I was doing a meme thing. So in the thing with the Switch, you know, the room with the Switch and the spikes?
Yeah.
You can actually hammer dash that room. It loses time, don't do it. But it was basically just, I did that, but I missed the pot. And then I picked it up and I forgot to hit the switch again. And then I walked upstairs and realized that I hadn't hit the switch and I had to come back up again.
Oh.
And then I had a bad jail cell. I got hit. And then I got hit somewhere else. And I was down to basically 1 heart by the time I got to the jail cell. So then I had to pick up the heart. And then the red Zazak almost killed me. And then blind almost killed me. That was rough. It was really bad. Yeah.
Fun times. I'm glad.
Yeah,
I'm glad this run was entertaining for.
It was
for
really.
everybody.
It was kind of a tale of two halves. Like everything was very normal up through Pod, and then everything just kind of fell off the rails, Thieves Town and beyond. But in a fun way, like we said. So this closes the book on your league seasons. It closes the book on the season of league as a whole. Any league thoughts for you guys as you're on your way through? What I can assume, I don't know if you guys have been a member of each of the leagues. I don't know if this is anybody's first league. I actually have no idea what it is. But give me some thoughts on leagues league as a whole for you guys.
I think I've done all of them, and I have enjoyed every single one. This is no exception. This is always a fun little thing to do with this community. I like it's just a nice little surge of activity, seeing everybody like do runs all the time and practice and schedule races, and everybody gets to hang out and do stuff. So I will continue to join these as long as they're a thing. I just think they're fantastic.
Yeah, 100% agree. I mean, I've been away from NMG for a while, but I've just got back into it in the last month or two. It always brings me back to playing it, and I've enjoyed playing NMG lately. So yeah, I think it's fantastic. It's not that big of a commitment. You know, it's 3 races, sometimes 4 in the first one. I've played every single one as well, and yeah, I'll continue to play it as well. Obviously, thanks to you guys for doing the commentary tonight and the speed runs, and all the guys that organize it behind the scenes, guys and girls that are working behind the scenes to put on these awesome events. And I did hear some talk maybe about maybe an NMG live next year. Am I right? I heard that somewhere.
Corey, any fresh new details?
Unfortunately, no actual details right now. But especially because, you know, speed gaming is a whole separate thing. I don't want to be gauche and talk about somebody else's thing, but we're hoping to put something like that together. So stay tuned for that, people in the NMG community. And we'll details as they are figured out and made available.
Little teaser.
Yeah, I'd be pumped for that, not gonna lie.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for racing. Yeah, you guys are the finale. I mean, what a race to close it out on. Extreme excitement. Only request maybe for next season is you don't schedule at right up to bedtime, so we can get some time to unwind from the excitement. that would be my request. But I mean, this was great. I really hope that you guys had a lot of fun.
That was my fault. I had a crazy weekend, and
it's
this is the only time I could play. But yeah. So thanks for making it work.
Thanksgiving makes that kind of difficult for everything. Even though Bydey's in Canada, like, schedules are hard to deal with sometimes.
I thought when you guys scheduled was perfect because it allowed me to commentate. So
that's true. That's true. We cannot deny Blaine for commentary. Okay, you know what? Schedule all your races at 9 p.m. every single night. That's okay. Fine.
All right.
My one
told me to do this. I'm going to now.
My one goal was to make Blaine say, "I've never seen that" 10 times, and I think we got there.
Oh yeah, this was full of those, so it was a learning experience for me as well.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Appreciate it, both of you.
Yep, happy to be here.
Thank you guys. Yeah.
Clearmouse, thanks for a fantastic time as usual.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I hope this is not going to be a once a year thing, but I very much appreciate any time that we can get you in the commentary for any event whatsoever. So it was a ton of fun. Of course, thank you, Bydey and Yeroc. Corey for, obviously, racing. You guys are the stars. And we'll also do thank Fox and all the other admins, basically for, again, just being, Fox basically makes everything run smoothly every single season. This season was no different. Was able to take care of everything, and, and just like that. It is almost League again.
Technically, it is almost League now.
You're right.
We're
It
done.
is almost League until next almost League.
Yeah. You said everything I want to say. Thanks, everybody. All of the production side, all the admin side, everybody at ZSR, and I mean the whole community for coming together and putting this on. It's so much fun. It's so great to be part of, and like I said earlier, I can't wait to do it again.
Fox will alert everybody when it's almost not League. Or when it's almost League after, in the interim. Yeah. I think it might be do it for us. You want to hand it over to Star? Wrap things up?
Yeah, unless anyone has any final thoughts, I think that will be a wrap. GG's again to both runners here, Bydey and Yeroc, and to everyone who participated in the NMG League this season. Thank you to all of our commentators, to my fellow, and thanks to the organizers as well. It's always a pleasure to put this on as a part of ZSR's the Restream crew here. Let's see. Please do give our two runners here a follow, Bydey and Yeroc, as well as our two commentators here. Let's see, that'll be it here for us tonight on the ZSR channels. Tomorrow we've got a couple of different things going on. We have ourselves at 3 p.m. and 5:15 p.m. Eastern. We've got a pair of Tears of the Kingdom 80% group matches. Group C and Group A, Robs versus Legend, and Lovely Sirius versus Moist Gulas. As well as a Zelda 200% all keys tournament match, Sweetie Bit bracket, losers bracket, semifinal match between Vaughn and Andy. We'll have more races throughout the week, predominantly of Zelda 2 all keys, Tears of the Kingdom, and also the Zelda 2 randomizer standard tournament. I've also got ongoing the Alchemy of Time randomizer standard tournament season 7 qualifiers ongoing. And then just keep an eye on the schedule for more ALttP vanilla and randomizer events coming up. Besides that. In the meantime, though, that is going to be it here for us tonight. We're going to go over and say hi to Lana Bean, who is doing some Link to the Past randomizer. Across PC, it looks like she's about not quite an hour in, so we'll see how that's going for her. So let you know, and we'll see you all next time.